The biggest game in American sports has finally arrived as well. Hello and welcome here to this exclusive Super Bowl 60 preview show between the Seattle Seahawks of the NFC and the New England Patriots of the AFC. And let me tell you, this will be one very, very interesting game that we have on our hands. I mean, both sides are evenly matched. Both sides are evenly matched on the offense and the defense. And what is interesting about this one is I actually have never covered these two teams. The two teams I did cover, the three sides I have covered on doing the Super Bowl exclusive preview shows, was the Kansas City Chiefs, Philadelphia Eagles, and the San Francisco 49ers. We're covering one from the NFC East, so that is two we have got from the NFC West. That is two we've got from the NFC West, 49ers and the Seahawks. We've never covered one from the AFC East, which is going to be New England Patriots. So this will be a very interesting one to cover. This will be a very interesting one to tell the viewers. And that is all I'm going to say regarding that matter. But just like that, then let's get straight underway and let's talk about the game in full. Let's now go west, down all the way to San Francisco, specifically Santa Clara, for this Super Bowl 60 matchup between the Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots. Now, this will be a very interesting game, how this season has gone across. This has been the season of utter madness in the National Football League, and it sums it up with these two sides. I mean, Seattle Seahawks, they haven't been in the Super Bowl since Super Bowl 49, when Russell Wilson, from the 1 yard line for the Seattle Seahawks to win the Super Bowl, decides to throw an interception, which led to the New England Patriots winning that Super Bowl in Glendale, Arizona. Now, they do not want to have memories of that. Luckily for them, Russell Wilson isn't their quarterback. It's Sam Darnold, and I'm sure he can do a good job under pressure. Who knows? We will see. But that was the last time both sides actually played in the Super Bowl. Last time Seattle played was then. The last time New England Patriots played, however, was Super Bowl 53, when they played against the Los Angeles Rams in arguably one of the worst Super Bowls to come out of the Super Bowling world. That was an absolutely diabolical game. Loads of expectation of it, loads of hype, loads of hope. And it was probably one of the worst games I've ever watched, that one. So that showed how bad that was. And to come in a Super Bowl as well, tragic news. I really hope this Super Bowl isn't going to be like that, because, well, the New England Patriots are playing against a side from the NFC West. And the NFC West, Los Angeles Rams, NFC West, Seattle Seahawks, in San Francisco, NFC West. So they're doing the NFC West pyramid one by one. The New England Patriots. So there we are. But the last time the Super Bowl was held here in Santa Clara in the Levi's Stadium was all the way back 10 years ago in Super Bowl 50, which was, to be precise, my first ever Super Bowl. That was the first ever Super Bowl I decided to watch as a young child, which was on February the 7th, 2016. Levi's Stadium, Santa Clara, Carolina Panthers 10, Denver Broncos 24. And that was Von Miller. Von Miller got the MVP that game via making recovering two fumbles, which ultimately led to Denver Broncos touchdowns. And that was Peyton Manning v. Cam Newton. And the good thing is, coming for all you New England Patriots fans out here, that was the biggest margin of a team that was the biggest margin a team had before the game, which was the Carolina Panthers. They were minus 5.0, and they lost the game. Now, Seattle Seahawks are minus 4.5, which makes New England Patriots, well, the underdogs. And I'm pretty sure Mike Vrabel will set his boys up to be the underdogs. And I believe they will do well with that. But let's leave that for another story, shall we? Let's talk about the two sides. Let's talk about Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots in a brief little detail. I will explore the two clubs more in detail later on. But how Seattle Seahawks have rebuilt. They hired Mike McDonald as their manager after departing from Pete Carroll. And they decided, you know what, we are going to go for a complete reset. A complete reset. Bring on the youth, ditch the old, and there we go. He hired Cliff Kubiak as his offensive coordinator. That has worked. That has worked brilliantly for the Seattle Seahawks. His offense has worked brilliantly. Brit-born Aiden Dude, he's also done very, very good for himself. I mean, the fact that we have a Brit in a Super Bowl really says a lot and says how much the international game is growing in the NFL, which is what I love to see. And that is how the Seattle Seahawks have rose. But the New England Patriots have rose probably in a more meteoric rise, in a more dramatic way. Because last two seasons, they were finishing in a 4-13 record. Robert Kraft decided to make the move last year to bin Jared Mayo, which was a very, I wouldn't say controversial, but it was a move that had to be done for the New England Patriots' franchise. Bring in Mike Vrabel. They brought him in, former New England Patriot player, and nothing short, he has transformed the franchise around. He's turned the franchise around. I mean, he has put Josh McDaniels in as a offensive coordinator, which was a bold move considering how bad of a coach he was at the Las Vegas Raiders. So ultimately, that was a very risk, but it's a risk that was rewarded. New England Patriots have the third best offense in the league in the regular season, which really shows how much work he has done, how much work Mike Vrabel has done in order to get here to Super Bowl 60. And fun fact, this is the first time in Super Bowl history in which both teams' starting QB and head coaches are in either the first or second season. Mike McDonald, second season with the Seattle Seahawks. Sam Darnold, first season with the Seattle Seahawks after moving from the Minnesota Vikings. New England Patriots, Mike Vrabel, first season coach, replaced Jared Mayo. Drake May, second season coach, mostly on the bench last year. And I believe that is what made him a better QB. The fact that he had that experience on the bench, came in, did a good job, and then now is ripping the league up by storm. So for me, that just shows how you need to develop a QB very well. So yeah, that is what I am going to say on that one. That is basically the Super Bowl. That is a rough example of the previous show, but we need a bit more, don't we? We need a bit more. And first, let's move up north. Let's go up north to the state of Washington to talk about the NFC Champions and the NFC's number one seed of the Seattle Seahawks. Shall we? Let's go. Let's follow the 12 and let's have a look at the NFC Champions, Seattle Seahawks. Now, Seattle Seahawks, the reason how they got to the NFC playoffs was simply through getting that number one seed in the NFC West. They played Los Angeles Rams in Week 17 at Lumen Field. The job was simple, to win and hope the Los Angeles Rams lose, because either way, if either team was going to win, they would get that number one seed. The Seattle Seahawks beat the Los Angeles Rams 38-36 in the last second field goal, which determined everything. That determined the whole path for them two sides. And because of that 14-3 record that Seattle Seahawks picked, they now went through straight to the divisional. None of the wild card procedures, straight to the divisional, where they faced off against Brock Purdy's injured-bound San Francisco 49ers. And to be fair, it was a case of 49ers just glad to be there, because out of all their injuries, even George Kittle picked up an injury against Philadelphia Eagles. They were pretty much done, and they were. They lost 41-6, including a second touchdown from Rashid Shaheed. He ran all of the way. Edin Pinheiro kicked. Rashid Shaheed ran that whole way. That was the first play of the game. So when that kick happened, I've never seen a ground shake so much, loud so much in my life. And no wonder, because Seattle Seahawks absolutely destroyed the Niners 41-6. Went through to the championship game, the NFC Championship game at Lumen Field, where, they faced their older NFC West fellows, Los Angeles Rams, and that was another brilliant game. it was a battle between the two offensive and the defenses. The Los Angeles Rams under Sean McVay versus the Seattle Seahawks under Mike Macdonald. Unfortunately for McVay, Macdonald ended up getting that win. He was the one that found a way through. Sam Darnold's brilliance found his way through. They both averaged over 300 yards passing, which is simply incredible in that moment. And they went through to the Super Bowl, the Seattle Seahawks. And basically, like I said, Mike Macdonald has turned this franchise around. They were fairly successful anyway. They had a few playoff stints in that, but not getting to the Super Bowl. And getting to the Super Bowl is a massive thing. It's the fourth time Seattle have actually occurred in the Super Bowl. This will be going for number 2. Now, some standout players to watch out for the Seattle Seahawks. Obviously, Sam Darnold, we're going to talk about. He got a passer rating of 122.4. He left the Minnesota Vikings after finishing 12-5. I think 12-5, 13-4, something like that. They advanced straight to the game where they lost to the Los Angeles Rams. Unfortunately for them, that was in Arizona, but they still lost. And that playoff loss meant Sam Darnold got immediately binned from the squad, because Sam Darnold was originally coming in as a backup to replace JJ McCarthy, who picked up an end-of-season injury. And he did very well. But Minnesota's Vikings' mistake was to let him go. To the Seattle Seahawks, where he promised, he thrived, and he has become a very, very... He is a really good comeback story for anyone who is fascinating watching the NFL or as a personal issue. Sam Darnold is that type of person who is a fantastic role model in that situation, and fair play to him, and secure the Super Bowl in his first year with new size. He's actually one of only 4 QBs to get his 2 size in the playoffs. The Minnesota Vikings last season, Seattle Seahawks this season. And then let's talk about the wide receivers, shall we? Lots of wide receiver room, specifically Jackson Smith and Jigba, who only needs 35 yards in the Super Bowl to become only the 3rd player in NFL history to total 2,000 yards in a season. There's only 2 players who have done that, Puka Nacua and fellow teammate, who I'm going to talk about, Cooper Kupp. 2nd Super Bowl for Cooper Kupp, and let's just say he might make it number 2. He might be that experience. He might be that last thing that the Seattle Seahawks really needed. He might be the one that sends them through, just because of his experience. He obviously got the Super Bowl MVP all the way back in Los Angeles 3 years ago when the Cincinnati Bengals played the Los Angeles Rams. And just simple, because he's a big game player, and big game players play. And there you go. That is one. Another person to watch out for, Kenneth Walker. He will be key in Seattle's running game because of Charlemagne getting that injury against the 49ers. So he will not play, which is a shame there for Charbonnet, because he's a very good running back, but he will not be there. But Kenneth Walker is a very key player in Seattle's running game for that offense. Now for the defense, let's talk a bit about the defense, shall we? Leonard Williams, he will hunt. He's currently on 8 sacks at the minute. He will hunt to get Drake May. That's simple. Another guy, DeMarcus Lawrence, he will be watching out. He will be tackling Morgan Moses. He will be the guy that will be ramming on that New England defensive line. And who knows, if there's space in that O-line, Drake May is going to get caught. The only problem is New England have a very, very good O-line. So that will be a task. Byron Murphy as well. 7 sacks he's currently on. Will he make it 8? Will he make it 7.5? Well, who knows? Now, Seattle Seahawks, they are in the Super Bowl for a reason. They are a very, very good side. Very, very good, forceful side. And fair to say, Seattle Seahawks have deserved every minute of it, of why they are in this Super Bowl. And now the AFC Champions, who are the New England Patriots, who are, in their eyes, surprising to be here. And in a lot of NFL fans' minds, surprising to be here. I mean, to actually get to the Super Bowl, they were something like 5,000 to 1. They was not expected to get here. They were really not, especially with all the implications that were around. I think they were plus 10,000 to get to the Super Bowl as a whole because of the 4-13 finish they had the last 2 seasons. But no, Vrabel finds a way, and Drake May finds a way to become probably the best QB in the league. As I was very impressed with him this season, and a lot of other people were. I called him Deadeye, I called him Hawkeye, because every time he threw perfect to a man. It was just there. Coincidentally, he just threw to someone, and it worked. It worked fantastic for him, and he can't really complain, can he? He can't really complain, Drake May. So that is why I say I don't even think in Drake May's mind he would get to a Super Bowl. I don't think he would have thought that second season in the American football, in NFL, and I'm here in the Super Bowl. I don't think he thought that, but he must have. He must have. Well, they must have, because they're here. And speaking about that, it's actually Coach Vrabel's first Super Bowl as head coach. So this is his first Super Bowl that he will be here as the head coach of the New England Patriots, which is very, very impressive for all of the Patriots franchise. And it just shows to Robert Kraft, he's a very good owner, he's a very smart owner, and he knows what he's doing. So, yeah, basically, that is it. Now let's tell you about how they got here. So they finished a little bit I think they actually had the same record as Seattle. I think they finished 14-3. But because of the Denver Broncos, yes, they finished 14-3. But because of Denver Broncos, who actually beat them or had a better record than them, they were where they are. They are there because of the Raiders loss. Because the Patriots lost to the worst side in the league, the Las Vegas Raiders, of that year, the Denver Broncos took that number 1 spot. And they had to go through the wild card. But luckily for them, they played the number 7 seed, the Los Angeles Chargers, and that was pretty much one-sided. I felt sorry for Justin Herbert that game. For me, it just showed that Justin Herbert wanted to be killed. But credit to the Patriots defense. They shone, and they knew what they were doing. They defended on Drake May. They trusted in Drake May. They trusted in their offensive line. And that is what got the job done. They trusted in their defense, and they won that game pretty comfortably. Then they faced against the Houston Texans, which a lot of people thought would be a bit more intriguing, especially given the fact that the Houston Texans won every single game, won about 12 games on the row before facing the New England Patriots, where they, it was one of them where it was a tight one, but CJ Stroud, he had an absolute shocker of a game. He threw 4 interceptions. I believe he fumbled a couple too, as it just wasn't his day. And the New England Patriots managed to sweep on that and win and play in the AFC Championship game against the Denver Broncos, which, again, they got a little bit of luck on that because Jared Stidham was the QB on that one purely because of Bo Nix suffering an ankle fracture, I believe. So that was him out until the end of the season. In comes Jared Stidham, who did an okay job, to be fair. He tried for a touchdown, but then it just went downhill. It went downhill for the Denver Broncos, and for the New England Patriots, Drake May managed to run. He managed in the vital moments when it was snowing. He did his job, and he sent the New England Patriots to Super Bowl 60. As basically, yeah, that is what it was. Drake May did his job. They all did their job, but he was the guy that ran to that spot to call it, right, the game. New England Patriots go to the Super Bowl. And it was a tough game too. It was very, very bad conditions. And they managed to find a way to win that game. And that is what elite teams do. Elite teams manage to find a way. New England Patriots this season are managing to find a way. Could that be good for them in this Super Bowl? Well, we don't know, but we'll just have to see, won't we? Players-wise now. Obviously, I mentioned about Drake May. This is his second season for Patriots and got to the Super Bowl 60. Passing rating of 113.5. He's a very, very good runner. No wonder why there were shouts of him being called MVP.
a lot of MVP chants. I heard a lot of MVP chants in that in Gillette Stadium. Unfortunately, though, for him, he didn't get it. Matthew Stafford got it, which I could understand. I could understand why both would be worthy of getting MVP. I do get that. So you've got that. You've got that side of it. Then we will talk about other players. For me, Travion Henderson has been very impressive. Very impressive for Patriots. It's his rookie season, Travion Henderson, rookie running back with Drake May, and he averages, and he gets over 1,000 yards. That is impressive. Very good there for a running back, very good key features for a running back, and he did that job perfectly. Stephon Diggs as well, he has also been influential. He has been the guy that he's passed to Drake May. Henderson and Diggs right there. Drake May, receive the ball to them, they will do the job. Cool, calm and collected, that is what this Patriots offense will do. However, the defense, this is what I'm interested in, because you've got the two cornerbacks of Christian Gonzalez and Carlton Davis, who will they will get Seattle's people. That is their aim. But I cannot wait to see Christian Davis v. Jackson Smith-Njigba. That will be a tie. That will be a clash. And that will be a certainly eye-opening opportunity and will be eye-opening in the Super Bowl, that clash, in my opinion. Don't forget Will Campbell too. He's another player, rookie. He's a fantastic player. Him, Morgan Moses, signed from the Jets. He is doing an important role in that left tackle for the New England Patriots. So the players-wise are there. The coaching-wise, they are there. Impressive how they got here, for my opinion, because of where they were at. But giving its credit due, New England Patriots are on for that 7th Super Bowl. This is their 12th appearance in the Super Bowl out of 60. Now, let's get a prediction from me. Let's get a final conclusion of who I think will win Super Bowl 60. Who do I think will win this year's Super Bowl? And I really do not know. And I do not know more than any other year because I tend to jinx the winner. I really do not know about this one. I mean, I think Seattle have more offensive power, but I think New England have more defensive power. And that they're both key. They're both key. Offense, you need offense to obviously go and score points. Defense, you need defense to obviously contain the points that you are conceding and to make the offense score more points. That is what both sides need to do in this one. Now, I think with Seattle, they're obviously if Sam Darnold can give the ball to Njigba, give the ball to Cooper Kupp, give the ball to Kenneth Walker, give the ball to Rashid Shaheed, then they should be okay. They should be fine. But it depends if it depends if they're all on days, because it's like that Christian Gonzalez and Jackson Smith-Njigba. I want to see that happen. That will be a proper entertaining clash if that happens. If that one thing happens, that would be good. That would be good. Yeah, that would be the one good thing. Now, like you say, I'm not too sure I think we'll win this game. I think it's just going to be based on... It's going to be based on moments, this Super Bowl. That's what I think it will be based on. It'll be based on moments. Last season's Super Bowl, it wasn't based on moments because Philadelphia Eagles convincingly beat the Kansas City Chiefs, and they actually beat them 40-22, which doesn't seem as convincing as it was, but that was because Chiefs scored 3 touchdowns in the last fourth quarter. That should have been a lot more convincing for Philadelphia Eagles because they smashed them. The rest, Super Bowl 58, came on a last-minute extra time moment, which came and saw McCall Hardman score the last minute of overtime, the last second of overtime for the Kansas City Chiefs. So individual moments do happen. I believe this will be another moment. I think this will be another moment of individual brilliance. It depends on who brings it, because I think both QBs are capable. Drake May And Drake May and Sam Darnold are both capable, in my opinion. You can clearly see that from how good they've been. But I have to pick one at the end of the day, don't I? I have to pick one at the end of the day. And I'm not too sure. I mean, my fandom wants Seattle to win. I've got a coach feeling New England will win. So I'm not too sure. I think because it like you say, it all comes down to moments. If Seattle's offense if Seattle's offense is elite that game, Seattle Seahawks will win. If they're not, and if New England are able to hold them down, New England will win. So it comes to that where I don't know. I don't know what's happened. But I have to pick a winner. And you often hear the phrase defense wins championships, don't you? You often hear that phrase a lot. And you often hear a phrase that a lot for offense too. I'm gonna go for Seattle. Only just. I was thinking, that's why I've left a huge pause. But here's why. I think it will be a case of Seattle will score enough. They will do enough. They'll do enough that game. It will be a moment, and I think they will do enough. And I precisely think that moment will come in the fourth quarter, where there's like 2 minutes left, or 2 minutes left. I think New England will score a touchdown. It'll be something like 30-19 Seattle. They will score a touchdown, New England. That will make it 26-30. I believe. 26-30. And or 26-31. And then it will be a case of New England will get the ball back. But I think that will be it. I think they will have a chance. Seattle's defense will stop them. And I believe Seattle Seahawks will win this year's Super Bowl. And they will only become the second team from Seattle to win the Super Bowl. The second Seattle Seahawks team that will be parted in Seattle. Aiden Dude will be the first ever British head coach, the first ever international coach to win a Super Bowl. I believe that. I believe Cliff Kubiak will have one last goodbye with Seattle before he goes to the Las Vegas Raiders and coaches them. That is why I will say Seattle Seahawks will win this game. It will be a very close one to call, but I think it will be 30-26 to the Seahawks here at Levi Stadium. San Francisco fans, I know, will definitely hate it, but I believe that will be the case. Seattle Seahawks will win Super Bowl 60. And just like that, that is my prediction bombshell as I will get going. I have not done a video on my YouTube channel for ages. I will apologise. Hopefully I can upload more in the future, maybe with a sneaky little thing coming up. I do not know. But there it is. That's Super Bowl 60. Out and underway. I always love doing the Super Bowl predictions. They are my favourite, the Super Bowl prediction. I love it. And we are here. We will carry on with doing this for years to come, I am sure. But from me, have a good one. Have a good Super Bowl tailgate. Have a good party. I will be seeing you soon in the next one. See ya and good night. Good night. Bye-bye.